Your media, where you are.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another beautiful episode of On the Flip Side. So, I think today you might be asking yourself, why am I just a little bit somber? I think today we're going to be speaking about something that's very intense, something that affects so many people. We've heard so many cases, we know so many people that have been through this. So the mood today is not necessarily that we're not gonna laugh or we're not gonna be too loud, but we're also going to be very sensitive to the topic at hand. So today on our show, we'll be talking about GBV, gender-based violence. And we have somebody fantastic to speak today about GBV. I absolutely love this woman. A lot of you guys will know her. She's very, very active on social media. She does so much work for GBV. You probably would have seen her in courts and all these cases that are going on in terms of GBV. And I'm very excited to have a conversation with her. So without any further ado, Flipper Nation, please help me welcome owner, founder, and chairperson of Sisters Keepers, a stone Christian, and so many more. You know, I know her as Auntie Cray Cray, but actually her full name, Olebogang Moemise with an I. Dumelang, Auntie Cray.
Dumela Olebogang.
How are you?
I'm good, yourself, Waneso.
I'm really good. Thank you so much for joining us on the Flip Side today. I'm so glad and honored to actually have you here as somebody who is, a founder of such a great movement. I mean, you've done so much work in terms of Sisters Keepers, but it's a conversation that I want to have later on. I want to actually start at the very, very, very beginning, right? Because I know that Sisters Keepers did not just come out of nowhere. It was a journey of your whole life that led to you having to actually start the actual foundation. So when I say starting from the beginning, you were born on the 18th of September, Miss Virgo,
The one and only.
1980.
That's right.
I mean, you don't look that old, but 1980 sounds a bit old though. It's all Midlands, the dusty streets of Midlands.
Yeah.
Your life journey, your life story, I know you personally, yes, but there's probably going to be so many things that I'm going to find out today for the very first time. So I actually just want you to start us off. Who are you? What is your story? What are you about?
Olebogang child Cray Cray. The introduction, darling. Thank you so much for making me feel so young. This is Olebogang Moemisi. And I'll tell you why. When my parents gave birth to me, they gave me a name, Olebogang Moemisi. I was called Olebogang Moemisi for the best part of my life until I turned 40. And I actually remember, I'm actually not Lebogang, I'm Olebogang.
Mm-hmm.
But you've said it all. Like, I've been through hell and back. But I believe Lebogang lived that life. Mm-hmm. So now you'll get to know Olebogang. Because I feel like Olebogang just it's a born again name. So
yeah.
Where do I start? I've got so
I think
much.
let's start where Olebogang, right? Because I think
Yes.
Olebogang, like you were saying, has been the greater part of your life. But she was somebody that went through a lot of trauma, went through a lot of, tense things. And I think I want to start at the very, very beginning. I mean, this is an age that you wouldn't even think, any child would go through. I mean, I know something happened to you at the age of 5, which obviously turned your life upside down. I mean, 5 is very, very young, but this actually happened to you. Would you mind sharing that?
Lebogang, my sister. Lebogang, at the age of 5, my mom, let me rather say, my mom had a shebeen in the township of Meadowlands. Very popular Shebeen, where we had, you used to have the SABC people hanging at our spot. So my mom realized that actually the business was growing, and he got a guy in our neighborhood to stock up for her, because she used to also have a job at KFC. So half the time she was, not even half the time, most of the time she was away at work. So this guy one odd day decided to rape me.
At the age of
5. But this was not once, it was rapidly. I don't know how my mom actually discovered that, but I have a memory of my mom coming in from work. It was very late at night. We were sleeping with my sister, and she put on the light. I don't know what she saw, and she just jumped and went to the neighbor and asked for a car. She drove with me to my aunt's house in Meadowlands Zone 5, because we're from Zone 1.
Yes.
And then I was standing at I have the memory of me standing at the little corner when my mom was talking to my aunt. And then they took me to hospital. For the first time, only now when I'm now a matured woman, I actually can identify a vaginal cream, because I remember this is what they used to apply on me then. I think that's what the hospital gave my parents, my mom rather. That experience, Lebogang, was just not nice. I was not even aware that I'm pained. So that experience was took over my life.
And I can imagine, because I mean, from there, you still had to go to school. You still had to be a child. You still had to be a daughter. I mean, you still had to be an older sister, because you do have other siblings as well. What was that interaction with all the people around you, even with your mother hadn't found out about what was happening? Because I mean, she probably knew what happened, because that's why she took you to the hospital in the first place.
So this experience, remember I'm 5, very naive, don't know what is happening. All I remember also is that the guy, then I was asked who did this to me, and I told my mom who did this to me. The guy was brought in, in the township, there used to be the street committee, so they took the guy to the street committee, and he was beaten up by the then comrades, and then was arrested. I remember vividly going to Orlando court. So now, remember, this just happened, and obviously, because the guy was beaten up by the community, now I'm known as a rape child in the neighborhood. So just that opened me up to actually 3-4 more guys repeatedly doing the same thing in different occasions.
And were you saying that you're less than 10 at that time?
I was less than 10. The one guy was my neighbor. It's the houses in the township. The gates are very close to each other. So the neighbor that we shared a gate with, one guy was from there with his friend one time, and the other time was the other one, the third one, the third house from my house. But that one made me think it was okay, because they used to call me Slender. So he'd say to me, Slender, what's you do whatever you do to me and give me 5 rand. 5 rand was a big thing for them. I mean, so he always made sure that I keep quiet by giving me that 5 rand. So that happened. The saddest one, not that I'm saying all these were okay, but the saddest one was my brother as well, Wow. So remember, I'm known. So everyone knows that they will not see blood on me anymore, because it's now something that sort of,
it's
a normal thing for me. That messed up. Like I'm saying, Lebo, it messed up my life. I was not even aware that my life was ruined. I was a great kid. I was an athlete, a good athlete. At school, I was an A student. I played netball at school. I was in a debating team. I was very active. But I think I did all that I'm not saying it's exactly what happened, but I think I did all that just not to be home. Anything that made me far away, that kept me far away from home. So when we go for netball, I'll come back home around 5. 6. So it carried on for a very long time. The one thing I know for sure is that, speaking to my I've got a shrink now. They call them shrinks. Speaking to him, it only just made me realize I was actually a bully at school.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I never used to fight girls. No, I never used to fight girls. I always fought boys. I always beat up boys because fighting is different. I would beat up boys. And this happened remember in the township we have primary school, then there's higher primary school, then you go to high school. But all that, I was just very bad. I'd be constantly being in a fight. I remember there was a teacher, Mrs. Ramahum. I think we call them mistress.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Ramahum would say, Nenka makala isi o. Each time there's a fight, then she would say, Nenka makala isi o. But that, a message is sent to the brain. One way or the other, the brain stores certain stuff.
Absolutely.
It's always been in me.
All of this obviously had such a direct impact. I mean, you were mentioning how you didn't want to be at home. And obviously now because you were not at home, you were at school, you were everywhere else, and now you're also being violent with the same sex that actually was violating you. So I want to get into the home structure a bit more, right? To say, what was it that you were running away from? Because, I mean, home is supposed to be like a safe space. It's supposed to be your safe place. I mean, these things are happening to you. You're being violated by these men outside of your home. And you're supposed to run home to protect yourself, to feel safe. Why was home not a safe space for you?
Sure, Lebo. Home was actually my worst place to be growing up. I hated home. So I come from a family of 5 siblings. So it's 3 brothers. Before me, it's me, then it's my sister. And in that, my sister, look, this is a very painful moment for me to share. This is one thing that I never like sharing because it cuts really deep. Because even now, till this day, I still am trying to understand at what point did it get there. So I'm gonna just share it.
Okay.
My sister went to a multiracial school, and I went to a township school. Okay. My mom would prepare lunch for my sister to go to a multiracial school. I will walk at lunchtime to come and have food at home. So I did not understand what that was, because to me, me and my sister age difference is 2 years. I just felt that we were almost twins. Yeah. And so it was that, and I said, I'd ask myself, how is it that I was the raped child? And we didn't even, and remember me growing up, rape was just a taboo word. Like we'll be very scared to mention rape. But why was things done to me alone? And just that messed me up for the best part of my life. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm still alive. And I praise God all the time that I'm still alive. And I am not even HIV positive. There's no disease in me. Things I've done going forward, because I could not. Home was the worst.
What was the nightmare? What was the demon? What was the toxicity that was existing in your home that you wanted to run away from?
I can't say, Lebo. All I know is that I hated home. I can't place my finger. I've never understood how much I hated. Remember, I said to you at the beginning that my brother also did this to me, and I just didn't feel loved. I felt like there was so much competition. And remember, the one thing that you should know is in Black societies, we have aunts. I get it, we from the generation, it takes a village to raise a child. Yes. So there was my aunts there. They would come and tell your mom doesn't love you. Yeah, when an adult is saying that, and now you're weighing, like it was like a lunch, and then goes to a multiracial school, and so you really realize, you are not loved. But I'll tell you, I did not have time to think of that ever in my life. I was hyperactive. Do you know that at some point you think a child is hyperactive, she's just hyperactive, she's creative? No, actually sometimes it's pain. It hurts, but you don't know where it hurts. You just want to do something. You want to keep busy. And hence I ended up being a dancer, because I realized when I was on stage, I would let it all out. Like I'd be so free. I'd feel like a feather after a show, And I realized when I started hanging with the likes of Lebo Moemise, and majority of us were actually from broken families, deep dark secrets, and this is, then you like, also is it that a lot of creativity, like artists are from actually the sad background. I can't Lebo till this day. Home is still not a very nice place for me. I look, I've got my sister and I have the most beautiful relationship, and only now I started building a good relationship with my mom because I could not stand her.
Yeah.
And you know the saddest thing is I can't even tell you why I could not stand my mom. I feel like I'm disappointed that she was just not there the way she was with my sister.
With your
I don't
sister,
know.
yeah.
I don't know. But you know what? One time God gave me courage to talk to my mom about it. And guess what, Lebs? She also was exposed to rape. She was gang raped. She says one time she went to open a case. The very same police that she went to open a case to, he raped her.
Oh
you know,
my
so it's
goodness.
then I think I was what a mirror. I was her reflection. I don't know. Like I think her looking at me just
Reminded her of herself.
till this day. I think I remind my mom so much of her past, and I'm talking about painful past. And you'll be surprised as to how many more. With starting Sisters Keeper, you will be surprised as to how many cases we're dealing with.
You know, and I also wish we had more time because I would have loved to go into the dancing world because and you were with a lot of celebrities back in the day. So your list is endless. I mean, you were a dancer, so you were exposed to, music, drama, theater, all of that. And maybe we'll have you some other time so we can, explore that world. But I want to explore this one where you're basically saying that, your mom, obviously you are like a reflection of your mom. And maybe that was the reason why it was very difficult for her to kind of like show you that love. Yeah. And I think where I'm trying to go with this question is because I know you were married once upon a time. And is it because and now you're divorced? Obviously, I'm saying married as past tense, and now you're divorced. Is it because the love do you feel that the love that you lacked growing up had an impact of how you actually were loving in your marriage? Do you feel that you were unable to fully love the person you were married to, which obviously could have been also one of the reasons why that led to your divorce?
Wow. Yeah. Lebo, let's tap a bit in my dance world because this is where I met my ex-husband. Okay. Like I said, the one thing I'll tell you with my experience, each time I was very, very mad or angry, or like maybe whether we got paid or something happened at the audition, or I'd want to sleep. Each time I was angry, I would want to sleep with a man. I never understood what this was until like recently, like I said, I'm talking to someone that, it's something I was exposed to sex at a very tender age. Mm-hmm. So it became I could not keep any relationship, be it friendship or even dating. Mm-hmm. So my ex-husband, I met him at a pub called Danish Pub. He was also in the media industry, and he's seen me where I used to do adverts as well. He was the director of one of the ads that I shot. We met there, and the poor man was the most beautiful soul. He is still a beautiful soul. He's warm-hearted. He's family-orientated. He is everything good in a man. Mm-hmm. We are imperfect as human beings, but I'm telling you right now, he's perfect in his imperfections.
Yes.
I do not know how I failed it. I met my husband when I was very drunk. I used to drink up the stomach. I used to drink like a fish. I used to drink. Mm-hmm. I was constantly drunk. Mm-hmm. I think I coped with my situation with alcohol. Mm-hmm. So I think when I started sobering up, I was 6 years in a relationship with him. And shame that, I always say I have such a good relationship with him now. I always say he was God's God sent. He was someone. I think He allowed God to use him as a steward to save me, because that man saved me. He was very patient with me. I was very abusive towards him. Very, very. And I say abusive. I could not care less about his feelings, and when we talk about marriage, I remember on my wedding day, I was actually dancing on top of the table. Until this day, I wonder what got to me. Mm-hmm. So I know somewhere in my life, there's just something in the back of my mind that really tampers with me. And that is, it's a monster in me. There's a monster that now I'm trying to handle my monster very well. Because each one of us has a monster.
Each one of us
But
does.
my marriage life But it was I don't know, nothing perfect. The only thing, I had a patient person that was trying to make me a wife in a struggle.
It's so crazy when you talk about how you would jump from man to man to man to man, because as your child, as your daughter, I mean, I think now that I'm older, I've started to see this pattern, because even after you got divorced, it's not even something happened before you got married. Even now in your life, sex is still such a huge thing. How do you feel about that?
The one thing I do right now is to speak to Jehovah. I draw strength from him, because the one thing that I think I have mastered is sex. And if you remember, because you're my little girl, there's a guy I dated that I'm not gonna mention by name, but that once beat the hell out of me because I was talking to a friend, and because he feels I was being sexual. I think most of the guys I've dated I think they know of that. I'm not sure if no one has ever said this to me, but I'm said that it is something that I've mastered. And I've once had a conversation with you and your mom to say, the one thing I do not, the Bible says sex is sacred, I can't say that. I say I hate it when a man looks at me and they see a piece of me, because I know that's what men do. So I take sex as just one of those. Like, when I sneezed, like when I cough, which is not a good thing. I'm not even, I hate the fact that that's how I think. You cannot come and say, maybe you propose a relationship with me or something, and you think that because you give me good and you think I'll keep you. That to me is just, it's like whatever. Personality, your character is everything to me. So I'm sick to actually confess the fact that sex is such a big thing to me. It's like, it's as if I'm skipping or loving, or I hate it. I'm not proud of it, but it's something that I know very well, that I master so much, that I think it's I'm not even, can I call it comforting? No, I don't know what to say. I don't have a word.
It's almost like you've done it so much to the point where, like,
Absolutely.
like there's nothing special. It's just another round. It's whatever.
And it hurts. It really, really, really hurts, because truth is, I am very big at energies. I believe in energies. When I meet a person, I connect with you through energy. I know that if there's one thing that God gave me, it's the ability to connect with the person. When energy is everything to me, and sex is actually the biggest thing. It's two energies exchanging. It's just that much. I'm always on my knees for me to get healing,
And I think I actually wanted to ask about that, because, if you are saying that you're big on energies, in my mind, I can only imagine how many energies you are carrying. Do you think that the combination of all those energies within you have also contributed to creating the monster that you now had to go through the process of rebirthing and renaming yourself? Do you think that that played such a pivotal role in how you react, how you work, how you move, how you talk, how you interact? Do you think that's what's happened with these particular energies? Because I mean, I can only imagine it's mind blowing, for somebody to believe in energies but have a contradictory life to what they actually believe in.
Lebo, luckily now, like I said, I think you've heard me speak a lot about Jehovah. I recognize him more than anything. I say the force that has brought me here, it's nothing but Jehovah. No, I don't know Jehovah. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's called Jehovah, but because the Bible says our God is Jehovah, I only believe strongly in him. I speak to him. That's why I get so sad when I date, and I just date a person, because this is what we're coming. The thing is, every second human being is carrying so much. You date, and the next thing you break up, and then you have to have this one. The nice thing is that right now I recognize that I can't. I take a back seat for the first time, and hence the rebirth of Olebogang. I'm turning 42 this year, so I'm talking about 2 years ago. I made a conscious decision to say, I'm going with my name. It's Olebogang. I want to see what Olebogang can be, because Olebogang has lived in a body of Olebogang for so long. Now it's a baby, and now I'm not even mimicking. I'm literally crawling as a human being.
Yeah.
I am yet to see the best version of Olebogang.
Yeah.
So I don't want to beat myself up a lot. Because it's quite embarrassing actually to be even talking about, confessing that then this one I carry. It's very bad. And truth is, it is that, but slowly, Olebogang is really crawling. She will mimic, she will walk, she will start running, and she will be great.
And that's where basically I want to get into, right? Because
Yes.
we obviously skipping a lot of parts of your life.
Yeah.
Because we will be sitting here for hours talking about everything that you've been through. But I want to get to the best part of your life. You basically trying to, after 40, basically just, living a good life, and doing the best that you can, seeing what you actually can do. So one of the things, and I don't know if this is part of the best version of you, is exactly that. You started a foundation called Sisters Keepers movement. Is this also something that you would say is the best thing that's happening to you from the rebirth that you are going through? And also, just to continue from that, why did you start this movement?
Lebogang, I just want to say, whatever Sisters Keeper, it's one other element that shows how God lives in me. At the beginning of lockdown, deep in lockdown, at the beginning of lockdown, there was a little girl, Simpiwe Maseko, that was murdered. The mother had sent her to the store to go buy bread, and she never returned. I don't know if you remember that story.
Yes, I remember that story.
This was on the 2nd of April. I saw that. When I saw that, and someone posted on Facebook. Her name is Palesa Boka. Palesa is a friend of mine. She posted something. She was sort of narrating it as if it's pure, talking about what these guys have done to her. And it was, I remember the time, it was 4:45 in the morning when I saw that post. I looked at it, there was just a voice. Like I say, I have just this thing inside me that is burning, that is burning inside me. There was something that said, you are going to talk. And I was like, because Lebo, remember I said, I'm friends with celebrities. I don't want to be seen being weak. I don't want anyone to know that I was a rape child. I don't want anyone to know about my experience. But this time, God said, you're going to, I believe, like I said it's God. There was a voice that said, you're going to talk. And I took that post and I copied it. I shared it on my timeline, but added with my story. For the first time ever since I was on Facebook, I had 4,000 comments. And I was like, what on earth is this? People did not understand what this was. And because we're still in lockdown, I said, no, we'll do something about it. We went to Simpo's place to pay our respect with my friends. But there was just this thing burning inside me. While still at it, remember it's April, then it was May, June, the 3rd, I, once again in the morning, whatever time, but I know because I wake up very early in the morning, and before anything, I'm on Facebook. I see a post, rest in peace, Tejo. I was like, what? Rest in peace, Tejo? And I was like, but this Tejo, and then I responded to this girl to say, dude, this is Tejo from Gabo's place, Gabo's sister or something. I was like, what do you mean rest in peace? And then I followed it, I realized that Tejo went missing and she was killed. This was actually the birth of Sisters Keeper. And I'll tell you, Sisters Keeper, Palesa, when I spoke, because after I saw that post, there's Simpiwe, I actually inboxed Palesa and we spoke. And at the end, she said, remember, I'm your Sisters Keeper. And I was like, wow, name for my movement. And then I said, I will build, as soon as the end of lockdown, we'll start something. Then it was Tejo. Tejo's case, I remember I was plaiting my hair. It was a Monday. It was a Monday. I went to Tejo's house and spoke to Tabiso because I knew Tabiso, the brother. I said, Tabiso, you know what? I think we have to organize a march. Something has to be done. This cannot happen. And Tabiso said to me, no, we have actually someone that we have elected as a family representative. And he called Tumisang came through, and I was like, hi, Tumisang, I'm Lebo, no, a friend of Tabiso, and because I knew the family very well. And I said, you know what, we want to run with this. I remember calling your mother, calling a lady, Matepo, and I said, guys, I went to the police station to ask for permission for us to march. They said they're going to arrest us. Nothing's going to happen. But I'm saying to you, on Wednesday, we are having a candlelight, a memorial a vigil for Tsecho. Listen, we organized that. We put it everywhere on Facebook, and it was big. It went. It was big. You know, and I said from there on, I did not know there was just something in like everything I did, because I've never done all these things. Remember, I'm just the person who was just, it was still a thought, you know, but with Tsecho's case, it was a vigil, it was the memorial service, and thereof we started doing marches, and this is where the birth keeper is. So I can't possibly say this is Lebo coming out.
The rebirth.
It's still not the rebirth of it, because this Lebo is still fighting for the little girl. The Olebogang is fighting for the Lebogang, the little girl that was raped. So I'm yet to still see with this movement growing up. I mean, when we take this up, how far can we go? Who is this woman? Is this what God always wanted? Because everyone has a purpose in life, and I believe Sister's Keeper is my purpose.
So with the Tsecho case, you know, like you were mentioning earlier, you know, like we are a very close-knit community. Everybody knows everyone. You know, we know each other very, very well. So I can only imagine, you definitely knew Tsecho, whether it was her personally or her siblings, her relatives. When you found out about her passing, how did that make you feel?
I think I fought this case right up to the end, because Tsecho's, I don't know if it's an uncle or cousin, or introduced me to Tsecho, and he said, from the father's side, from Tsecho's father's side. He's asked me, if you can just take Tsecho under your wing, you know. So I knew Tsecho, like I say, very, very well, and I knew the family very, very well. So it hit me very hard to say, one time, this guy once saved me from my ex-husband. I'm not saying my ex-husband was going to kill me. Like I said, he was a very nice guy. But I remember him one time, like, Fast and the Furious, 2 BMWs on the road. Why is he after us? We had to drive straight to the Roadport police station, to say, you know, this guy is actually following us. He said we are divorced, he doesn't want me, and now he's here, and I don't know what's happening. And I remember the police station, this police officer said, case Khabo said to that woman, the police officer, to say, you know what, should anything happen to this woman, you need to know what is on you. I'm taking your name, and I want you to know what you would have failed this woman. And we walked away. So now, when I saw that on the news, I was like, can you believe that cousin, uncle, whatever, at some point, we can save. And Mwanahabo had to go through something that possibly could have been me there, you know. I think that's why it became, you know, I remember the members, my board members, would used to say to me, because it was as if I'm hearing and seeing her cry. I mean, Tsecho could not have had a fly, you know. So I fought it because it's someone that I was protected, I was saved from possibly being killed, and now so it was more personal to me than anything else, and hence you saw me fight the way I fought this case from the get-go. I mean, no one suspected Shoba, but I think if you can go back to Sisters Keeper movement post, you will realize that I used to point at Shoba to say, dude, Shoba this, Shoba that, and that's how it happened. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned Shoba, right? Because I remember when I was watching the case last week, because the verdict actually came out last week, you know, that he actually is responsible for this. And I think we definitely gonna need to do a part 2, right? Because I want to go into, you know, the strategies that the MPA used in order to actually get Shoba. But what was it about you knowing that it was him? Because you were probably one of the only people at that time, I mean, I could obviously be mistaken, but you were the only one who was verbal and very public about the fact that you can put your life on the line. It was definitely him.
You know, when you say this, I remember your mother, I remember my past that. I remember people calling me out to say, Lebo, utloshwa kanto yetsa. You remember my phone was hacked at some point. I'm so sad that if you saw him last week, I looked at him and I was like, I've always knew. I felt it in me. This is when I said to you, this is when you know that I'm doing I'm saving my papers, because I don't know where I got the strength and the wisdom to even see this, because it was just, to me, it was so strong inside. Shoba had something to do with this. And, I'm sad that last week I got caught, we almost had a physical fight with the sister because they attacked Tseho's friend. And I was like, Kore, you don't even see the depths of this. You don't see how evil your son is. Because honestly speaking, I think only an evil person can do what Shoba did. Like, for the life of me, I don't know, I have never seen a sick person like that. Shoba is very sick. And the saddest thing is, guys, I'm sick. I'm not doing this to him. I'm saying, I cry for you, my brother. You are sick, but following the voice note that your mother left shows me you are from a family that is very sick. We are called a very, your family wants to fight. Instead of people humbling themselves and actually walk, when you have a dog, like, they did something ugly. They still fought. Shoba still left a horrible voice note. So this shows us Shoba is from a family. Like, guys, we know he was nurtured. He didn't just grow up and be a man. It means there's a series of events that something must have happened to that guy. He is not okay.
And I think that's what we're going to go into, right? Because like I said, this definitely needs a part 2. So for now, I think for part 1, we'll end it here, because it's very important for us to go into those nitty gritties of how evil, of all the little things. And I think the reason why I want to focus on the Tofato case, not necessarily because it was just, the verdict was just done last week, but because there's so many strategies that I want to find out from a sister's keeper's point of view. Would you anticipate or expect prosecutors and the court to handle such cases in such a manner? Do you think that the strategies worked in order to making sure that all the people that were responsible for that murder was actually brought to trial? And even, questions of, the duration, because we all know that it took about 2 years to get Shoba sentenced. So I want to get into the nitty-gritties of that. How do people get hold of you on social media? How do people come and contact you personally if they want to actually report a case right now?
We are on Facebook as Sisters Keeper Movement. Facebook is actually growing. I think it's one that is putting us out there. But we are on Facebook, like I said, Sisters Keeper Movement. And we have also a number, 082 090-5107. We are looking forward to having you. We are looking forward to helping the society, the nation. We are here for you.
For this particular platform, you can find us on Instagram on your_media_SA. You can always also find us on TikTok. We are finally on TikTok, so go to TikTok at @yourmedia. You know me, Facebook, Olebogang Moemisi, no Instagram. Twitter coming very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm not going to say bye, guys, because it's not really bye right now. We're just taking a pause, and then we'll come back with part 2. But thank you for watching this particular part 1 of GBV.